Relics, the original Catholic collectible. Welcome back to FaithFocus.ca, where we delve into the rich traditions and fascinating history of the Catholic faith. I'm your host, Daniela Beasant, and today we're diving into a topic that's as intriguing as it is ancient: relics. That's right, those little bits of saints that have been venerated for centuries. Are you ready to explore the original Catholic collectible? Let's get started. So what exactly are relics? Well, in simple terms, relics are the physical remains of saints, such as bones, hair, or even clothing. These items are considered holy because they're believed to be imbued with the sanctity of the saints themselves. The practice of venerating relics dates back to the early church, where the faithful would gather around the tombs of martyrs and pray to seek intercession. But why do we venerate relics? I mean, isn't it a bit morbid? Well, to understand this, we need to delve into the theological and historical significance of relics. In the Catholic Church, relics are seen as tangible connections to the divine. They serve as reminders of the saints' holy lives and their close relationship with God. By venerating relics, Catholics believe they're honoring the saints and seeking their intercession in a very real and present way. Now, I've always been fascinated by relics, and honestly, if I had Oprah Winfrey money, that's what I'd be spending it on. I would have a huge collection, not just because, I believe they may have some power, when venerated, but also because they remind me that these people were human. Sometimes we forget, we get so focused on the mystical and the spiritual side and the ghostly side of things that we forget that these were real people that lived real physical lives. And when you really grasp onto that fact, it reminds you that it's possible. Sanctification is possible for all of us. And when you study the lives of those saints, you will often find out that they struggled too. Some of them had life issues or health issues that we all struggle with, and yet they were still able to reach a state of sanctity to become a saint. And it's such a great inspiration. So as morbid as the practice may seem to some, it does provide a lot of inspiration for those of us that are alive today. And of course, the intercession and the miracles that many people have claimed to have experienced. So let's talk about some of the most famous relics. One of the most well-known is the true cross, which is the actual cross upon which Jesus was crucified. Fragments of the true cross are housed in churches around the world, including the Basilica of the Holy Cross in Jerusalem. Another famous relic is the Shroud of Turin, believed by many to be the burial cloth of Jesus, and now there's scientific evidence that's actually affirming that. Then there's the incorruptible bodies of saints, like Saint Bernadette of Lourdes. Her body still remains remarkably well preserved even after over a century. And that's a common thing. That's not something that has only happened to her. There are many saints that are actually on full display, and their bodies just don't degrade for whatever reason. Well, we know the reason, right, is that they're saints. And this is why we believe that the relics or the tombs or the bodies of these people still hold up sanctified power today. The veneration of relics isn't just about the past. It's a practice that very much is alive today. In fact, relics often play a central role in the canonization process of saints. When a person is beatified or canonized, their relics are often placed in altars or reliquaries, becoming focal points of veneration and pilgrimage. One of the more dynamic and, dare I say, fun aspects of relic veneration is the folklore and miracles associated with them. For example, during the Middle Ages, it was believed that relics could protect cities from plagues, ensure victory in battles, and even bring rain during a drought. The relics of St. Nicholas, known as Santa Claus, are said to exude a sweet-smelling oil that has healing properties. St. Anthony of Padua's tongue is another famous relic, believed to have remained incorrupt and a symbol of his eloquence in preaching. That was actually the first relic I ever saw. My grandmother took me to his tomb in Padua, and I still carry a handkerchief that my grandmother made me put on his tomb, and I've carried it with me my whole life. So now let's talk miracles. There are countless stories of miraculous healings and divine interventions attributed to relics. For instance, the relics of Saint Thérèse of Lisieux are said to have cured a man of severe tuberculosis. Another striking example is the blood of San Januarius, which miraculously liquefies multiple times a year in Naples, a phenomenon that has been observed for centuries and remains unexplained by science. And you should know that liquefaction has to do with earthquakes. So when it doesn't happen, there's usually an earthquake or a natural disaster that follows, and it has never failed. So that's a fascinating one to study. So now you might be wondering, how did relics become so widespread anyway? Well, that happened during the Crusades. Knights and pilgrims would bring back relics from the Holy Land and spread them across Europe. This practice was so popular that it led to a booming relic trade, with some less than scrupulous individuals even producing fake relics. The church eventually had to step in to regulate the practice, and they ensured the authenticity of relics through careful documentation and veneration practices. Let's not forget the role of relics in today's church. Many parishes and dioceses still hold relics of local or patron saints, often bringing them out for special feast days or processions. These relics serve as focal points for prayer and devotion, connecting the faithful with the saints in a real, tangible way. So, whether you're a history buff, a theology enthusiast, a goth, the Gothic people would tend to really love something like relics, or just someone who loves a good story, the veneration of relics offers a fascinating glimpse into the rich tapestry of Catholic tradition. It's a reminder that our faith is deeply rooted in the physical world, and that through these holy objects we can touch the divine. So thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of relics. We hope you found it as intriguing and enlightening as we did. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And don't forget to check out our previous episodes, including the viral sensation Memento Mori, How Catholics Invented Goth. It's attached in the video description. Until next time, stay inspired and keep that faith alive.